Hello, I'm Tim Gilday, Head of Emerging Technology at General Dynamics Information Technology, GDIT. We're very happy today to be able to bring you one of our deepest cybersecurity technology experts, Dr. Matt McFadden, Distinguished Technologist and Vice President of our Cyber Center of Excellence. Matt, could you give a little bit more of your own background?
Sure. Thanks, Tim. Glad to be here today. I'm Vice President of Cyber. I lead our Cyber Center of Excellence and our Zero Trust Accelerator. My focus is bringing the latest technologies, our talent, our alliance partners, and our robust solutions to bear to bring about some of the most difficult cyber challenges.
Perfect. And actually, that's great because today we wanted to talk about the very important topic of zero trust, which obviously, like chess, easy to understand the concept, but very hard to master. And so we understand that's a very broad concept. GDIT just conducted a very wide-ranging survey across our government partners. So what we want to understand today is, first, what is zero trust from a conceptual perspective, and then we can dive down into some highlights of the survey. So what is zero trust?
So zero trust is fundamentally a architecture and strategy, not necessarily a tool or technology. And the idea is you're trusting nothing in the perimeter. You're validating every interaction that's happening within your enterprise. So it requires a little more of a different way of thinking, and it really needs to be embraced across the entire enterprise, not only from the mission, but to the CIO, to the operator down on the ground. Everyone has to embrace it.
Okay, so it's a very holistic concept with more than just technologies, people and processes as well. So the survey, why did GDIT at first decide to conduct the survey?
Sure. So, I think as you may have seen with the recent cyber executive order and the recent OMB guidance on implementing zero trust against federal agencies, we really wanted to measure the progress the agencies were making, understanding what strategies they were implementing, what investments they are making, what technologies are most important to them to help drive faster adoption across the government.
Okay, perfect. Well, so I was able to read this document. There's a lot of rich data in there, but if you were to extract a few key highlights for our audience, what would you voice to them?
Sure. So the good thing is agencies, according to our study, are making considerable progress against zero trust. So some of the things that they're working towards is identifying how they're going to do strategy and governance, trying to determine what technologies are most important to effectively drive maturity, understanding how they approach legacy infrastructure, and ultimately trying to make the right investments to mature their approach. One of the things that we learned is they're very focused on meeting the OMB initial actions, but their goal is to mature over time to elevate their zero trust maturity. With that, it's they're trying to think beyond compliance and understanding how zero trust will better help their mission and support the various mission stakeholders that they serve.
Okay. Well, there's a lot more rich data that can be seen in that report, so I encourage everybody to go and find that on our website. But Matt, if we're talking about the benefits of zero trust, what are some of the key benefits that agencies are looking to take away once they start to implement and mature their zero trust?
Sure. So a lot of agencies see zero trust as basically providing the right access to the right data at the right time. So there's a key piece of usability of just improving the way that users and stakeholders get access to that data. Another key benefit is resiliency, right? So as we've seen in the news with a lot of these large-scale cyber attacks and very emerging cyber threats, agencies are really focused on increasing resiliency of their enterprise. And zero trust is essentially a fundamental approach in order to do that. So when there's a new threat that has come out in the news, they'll essentially be better prepared to deal with it.
Great. So I think each of our different agency partners are at different maturity levels, and they have different cyber setups, different landscapes in their own cyber environments. And you mentioned earlier, this is people, processes, and technology. So there's a lot of moving parts under the idea of zero trust. So when we think about it that way, what are some of the main challenges that our government agencies are facing, and how might they overcome these challenges?
Sure. So, with that, they're trying to prioritize how they make their investments, right? So, largely the OMB mandate to implement zero trust has been unfunded, essentially through FY24. So they basically have to use existing funds to prioritize, what they need to drive towards a zero trust outcome. So in order to do that, agencies really have to assess their environment. They have to understand what capabilities they currently have, what types of technology gaps may exist, and even what infrastructure needs to be prioritized to move to zero trust. At the same time, we all know they have very legacy infrastructure as well. So, do they need to be refactored, rehosted? So there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. But I think one of the important things is, we at GDIT is we're helping them strategize how to do that by helping them assess their environment. So we're very focused on gauging their maturity against the CISA Zero Trust maturity model, and helping them identify, what are those gaps and what are the biggest prioritizations to get the best value for driving zero trust in their organization.
Right. It's obviously not an easy initiative or undertaking. Again, a lot of moving pieces here. There's partners, technology, and people that we can pull into the mix here. As we approach the 2024 deadline, to sum all this up, what are some of the key takeaways that you would leave the audience with as they digest this rich report?
Sure. So I think zero trust is a journey, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It requires considerable measurement and assessment of progress. So, I think with that, agencies need to invest in technologies that help drive that progress a little bit more measurably. As part of the study, they found that cloud was a key way to help drive implementations. And I think that's because a lot of some of the zero trust capabilities are essentially built into the environment. So it makes it very easy to migrate to a zero trust type architecture.
Thank you. That's very helpful, Matt. So then, using your own expertise and results from the survey, could you suggest ways that agencies could actually get started in their zero trust journey?
Sure. So I think lessons learned from the survey and implementing zero trust across quite a few of our customers. I think the first thing is just understanding that it's a multi-year journey, right? And it's a process. As part of this, it's also a cultural shift. So I think everyone within the agency needs to embrace it. So as part of that journey, agencies need to really understand what they have, the technologies that they're using, what are their current gaps, and they need to be able to think beyond just compliance. It's really about how are we driving maturity amongst the organization's adoption of zero trust. The other piece is we really want to ensure that the stakeholders and the missions are engaged. Ultimately, zero trust is there to improve the business outcomes and drive a more effective mission. So we need to embrace those stakeholders and make sure they're involved in the zero trust adoption across the agency. So with that, we hope to measure progress over time and continually assess the investments and the measurable outcomes of zero trust across what maturity looks like.
Perfect. So our teams and our audience, I'm sure, thank you. I'd like to thank you personally for making time to discuss this very critical topic that's pertinent to the government today. Audience, remember that you can find this survey that Dr. Matt McFadden and team have conducted on our public-facing website. Will be available for any deeper dive discussion, and I'm sure this is an evolving discussion that we can look forward to more articles from. Thank you.
Thanks.